Greetings, fellow humans. Bad Mark with another transmission of Metre keyboards. And today we're going to be taking a quick look and a review of a keyboard that was actually sent to me by the manufacturer. I guess they came across one of my videos and they asked me if I'd be interested in reviewing their keyboard. And as always, I'm like, hey, do you expect me to remain positive, or can I just be honest? And they're like, oh no, we want your honest review. So those are the only situations. If they ask me, because I've actually had a couple companies, and I won't mention their name, that are like, well, let us know, show us the video before you publish it. So obviously they want to make editorial comments, and at that point it's like, well, it's your creation, not mine. Anyway, so without further ado, today we're going to be taking a look at the Kemove, and I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's a brand that I've never purchased. I've seen a few listed here and there on Amazon. I can't say that I have seen any listed on AliExpress. I can't say, but anyway, this they seem to be growing, because I have seen them more over the last, I guess, 6 or 8 months. But anyway, this is one of their new entrants into the game, which is a low profile. Now, I only really have experience, I have a Yusu. It's more of a mid profile that I still intend to get to. It's the K630 TKL. But I also have this K3 that's actually loaded with some keycaps from Newfie. I think it's called Sand or Beach or something like that. But I don't really use this keyboard much. It is low profile. But this one in particular, it reminds me, I feel like I might as well be using a laptop keyboard. And one of the primary reasons I love mechanical keyboards is because they're not laptop keyboards. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. So just going to take a look at the outside real quick. Now, it says it's a 60%. I thought it was a 65%, but I got to be honest, I didn't take too much of a look at it. This does look like a 60% with 64 keys. So basically, it looks like they got the one you shift and then the one you delete on either side of the tab area here. At least that's what it appears to be, because I can at least, although it looks to be, there seems to be another column. I thought it was a 65%, but this is listed as a 60%. It is the K68 is the model. I got it in black. Now they had a white model and a black model, and they were listed, I believe, $99, but they had one that was a black and white model that was listed for $169. I did not see what the difference was between the two. They did not have Gatoron switches in stock, so I got a yellow switch. I believe that's their tactile. I believe it's the Kale yellow switch. I'm not sure. I guess we'll be taking a look at it. Yeah, and it is listed as a Kemove K68 60%. So let's go ahead and take the seals off this guy and take a look at her. Oh, the features, just real quick, it is Type-C, obviously. I believe they said that this was a new model, so I'm guessing they just released it in this past few months. The keys that come on it are PBT double shot. I do believe they're shine through, if I'm not mistaken. It does have hot swap functionality, and I do believe they are Kale hot swap sockets, if I'm not mistaken. RGB lighting. I'm not familiar with the software, but I guess we'll take a look at it to see if we have per key RGB or just your regular effects. Again, it says 60%, and it has a 3,000 milliamp hour battery. Not bad, not the best. Anti-ghosting, well, you would expect that, and 50 million keystrokes, but that's talking about the switches. All right, so let's go ahead. The packaging isn't that bad. It's very it feels retail to me, with the see-through plastic window. So it feels like it's set up to be on shelves. Not that I don't see much people doing much shopping for keyboards, except if they have a micro center nearby. All right, so what do we have in the box? we have our 2.4 gigahertz receiver. I'm going to assume that we do not have a spot to store it on the keyboard. I mean, if you're going to have a 2.4, you got to have a way to store it on the keyboard. If not, you know how many of these? I have a box of these. I mean, I spend probably a couple of days trying to figure out which one went to which keyboard. So anyway, but that's just my personal gripe. We also have, and I'm not going to open it up, we have a separate switch puller and a separate wire cap puller. So usually they're best in one. I hate having two tools because then, I can't just flip over. But that's neither here nor there. We have a nicely braided, this is the second time that I've seen this cable with this type of reversible, and I say that, put that in air quotes, but it's basically a unshielded USB-A, and then it's got the USB-C on a corner, so or on a 90-degree angle. So it's probably, I'm going to say the port's probably on the side. So besides a basic dust cover, I mean, it is cheap plastic, but it does fit. Now, it does not appear that there's any place to store that on here, which is a shame. Now, it does look like it has a edge lighting, and we'll look at that in a second. The manual does have a very basic instructions in a couple of different languages about how to connect to Bluetooth and how to change some of the RGB functionality, but I did not see anything mentioned about software, so I will take a further look into that. But for right now, we'll just go ahead and put the box away, and let's see if we can find a USB here. And all right, so we also, that's another thing I noticed. All right, so it is angled. I thought it'd come on the side. Usually when it's angled, it comes on the side. The 2.4 gigahertz switch for using the dongle. It has the cable setting, and it has a Bluetooth setting, and also has the Windows and the Mac setting, which is going to basically affect how the Windows and the Alt keys work, for the Mac users. Now, one thing I gotta say off the bat, I am kind of impressed and kind of curious to see, because it's actually quite substantial. Let's see, do I have this on grams? I have this on, let's put this on grams. Yeah, there we go. All right. So in grams, 754 grams. Wow, that's a pretty. It's not. It's 3/4 of a kilo. I mean, that's a decent size, especially for what is as we can see, a 65%. So why they're listing this as a 60% is kind of beyond me, because they're, in my opinion, they're kind of cutting themselves off. You know what I mean? It's a 65%, and it's going to be appealing to more people. So if you guys do reprint Kemove, I would say please update the fact that you have this makes it a 65%. So just that. So now we do have the logo sitting right here. From feeling it does feel like it's one of those heat transfers. So non-acetone nail polish remover, we'll take that right out. No acetone, because acetone will eat away at the plastic. We have a very interesting design. I've got to say, I have not seen this. I can't say if this, let me see. We've got one set of feet, so two different typing angles. It has a lower degree. We have a lower degree of angle, but at least we have the choices. We have a couple of feet. We do have what is a huge and gaudy sticker. It's quite bright, quite reflective. Now, granted, it is on the bottom, but and it's almost textured, and it's sticky. So, but all of these rubber feet and these two plastic nubs should keep it off of the ground. Now, out of curiosity, let me pull up one of my. Let's take a look at these caps. So they're PBT double shot, and they are definitely low profile. They seem to be even. Let mean, low profile, lower than an XDA. The profile does seem to be almost exactly the same for every row. But it is a pretty thick key. And the body actually, except for this part, which the molding weren't, actually goes all the way down. So it's pretty thick. And the switches that we do have hot swap. They're yellow. Oh, okay. Are these just regular Gatoron yellows? They didn't have any. These are, yep, just basic. This is your KS9 Gatoron yellow standard. It is not lubed. I can tell because it has the spring ping. These are quite clacky. I don't know. I mean, I guess nowadays I'm just kind of surprised that boards aren't, going and spending a couple more cents and getting the G Pros. They're lubed and they're really, I think in bulk they're roughly between 3-4 cents difference, maybe 5 cents on the outside. So I don't know. I'm not these companies. Now, okay, we do have north facing, so for those of you that are going to be concerned. Now, granted, I would personally stick to either these low profile keys or perhaps XDAs or DSAs. Putting on some cherries would kind of defeat the purpose of the low profile if that's what you're going for. So, it is solid. I'm very interested to see what it's gonna hold on the inside. Let's go ahead and plug it up and take a look at the RGB effects. The RGB is actually quite nice. It's bright. It's it does have that edge. So if you like that color on the edge of your keyboard, it definitely has that. Now these feet, this is several times I'm just moving the keyboard and the foot goes down. So now obviously a keyboard's not meant to be moved around, but I don't usually have that problem. When I lift it up, I can usually, as long as I'm not pressing down on it and moving it, as long as I'm just like moving it over, I usually can. And here's a cheap keyboard. Put the legs up. Okay. Legs are up. The legs don't flip. That's how legs on a keyboard are supposed to work. That's not what's supposed to happen. Now, I know this is low profile, but that's a bad design of the feet. That's not has anything to do with it being low profile, but you shouldn't be able to just, this is something that should have been caught in quality control, or heck, it shouldn't have even made it that far, in my opinion, having been part of product development teams, primarily software though, granted, but still, this is the kind of thing that it's just like, the keyboard that couldn't stand. Anyway, I'm always going to remain honest. I'm a consumer. Yes, I did receive this from the company. They wanted me to review it, and I'm reviewing it, and I'm going to be honest about it, and this is what I'm finding so far. So I just don't understand. So, all I can do is really just be honest about, my experience with the keyboard. But it's getting to a point where I really just don't understand some of these decisions. Now, granted, I've lived in the corporate world in a past life. I worked for many large corporations, I won't name, but corporations that everybody knows. And don't get me wrong, I learned a lot. But corporate environments, tend to, I don't want to say stifle creativity, but it can definitely put a big kind of weight on it, or makes it a little bit harder to be as creative, or it just makes it to where people who are creative kind of just, keep it to themselves. But this design, because don't get me wrong, I love the lines of this. I love that for a 65% we have the border. It has the LEDs obviously with the diffuser on the side. That is a nice look. I can't disagree. I'm not the biggest fan of the logo on the top, and I'm not the biggest fan of these switches. the legend for the switches being right there, and I don't really like how the switches are underneath. I usually prefer that switch. I know it's low profile, but I don't know. To me, honestly, it seems like it would have made more sense to put. Oh, look, I just got disconnected. You know, it does have pretty good bright RGB. Let's see what the cycling through is. But like I said, I don't know. I guess not the biggest fan of the placement, although it is easy to reach. And you can see what you're doing, although I've had to pick it up each time because it's not like I can tell which position it's in just with my finger. So, all right, we're not doing Bluetooth. We know that the function keys and the number keys give us the function and the number give us the function row. And then function L and M, these are for volume. In our media control, we can also lock the Windows key. Function space will function lock it. Function window will Windows lock the function key. So you can lock the function key. That means anytime you press any of the keys, it's going to be the function row. Or you can lock the Windows key. I think that's good for in gaming, I believe. But let's get to the RGB. So obviously the function up, like in most keyboards, turns on the light. The fourth gear is adjusted to the brightest. The red light flashes. Oh, it doesn't seem to flash. Oh, helps if I actually use control. I'm not seeing any red light flash, but that's the brightness, and then that's going to be the speed, as it is on a lot of keyboards. I'm curious here. All right. Yeah, see that? As soon as I press the function key, that one goes from whatever it's doing to white. Is that supposed to be an indicator? Stays white as long as I hold it. Alright, function right shift, switch the default light effect. Function caps lock changes the effects for the sidebar, the side colors. And then function backspace will turn it off. Oh. Well, that's weird. That's supposed to turn. That's what it says. Turn off the lighting effect, turn off the backlight, except for the function indicator. Huh. That's odd. I mean, obviously you can just turn. Oh. Even then the top, I put it at the lowest volume. Oh, I guess that's the shine from the, never mind. I see that. That's a shine coming off of the side diffuser. So yeah, why? What? I don't get that. So I'm gonna. Like, is this one defective? I don't know, but that's not supposed to happen. I guess I'll find out more when I get in there. But the only thing that I can think of is that it's either a crossed wire. Doesn't look to be a bad LED because it works, but why is it Why is it triggering? Why is that turning white? Now I know it has a reset. Let's try the reset. Function push B for 5 seconds. The keyboard restores to factory settings. All right, so function and B. All right. So, yep. That goes from the color that was at. See that? So yeah, that's I guess that's a defective unit. I mean, don't get me wrong. I prefer that I just get one that, you know, hey, make sure to give him one that's been double tapped. No, because I want to get one that any consumer would get, and I did. I placed an order on their website and paid $1 for it. So technically it was processed as a normal order, and this is what I received. A malfunctioning keyboard. So so far, I mean, I want to like this keyboard. Not because it was sent to me for free, but because I actually kind of like the design of it, and it might be a low profile keyboard that I would use. But then things like this happen, and it just like, I mean, that I can't work with that. I mean, I can't. That would drive me insane. I would end up just chucking the keyboard in the trash can and going with a keyboard that would work. Because I mean, you know, this is granted, this is a 60%, but this keyboard stock is $8.99. I can scoot it with my fingers. The legs don't fold. Oh, I only had one leg up. Alright. I can scoot it with my fingers and the legs don't fold. This one's $100, and I can't even, I mean, I just use both my hands and just kind of scooted it along. The angle of it is not far out enough, basically. If you compare the angle as to where, see, this one sits flatter, so it's going to slide just fine. The angle of it is much, much wider. This angle is barely just enough for it to stand. So that's why it does that. So anyway, I'll go ahead and publish this video. Obviously, I'll be sharing the link with them so that they can take a look at it. But I mean, it just doesn't bode well when, you know, hey, review one of our keyboards. But hopefully they're responsive. If they will respond, like I said, you need to correct on the box that this says 60%, because this is not a 60% keyboard. This is a 65% 68 key keyboard. So the fact that you're putting on here, for one, even the layout of your keyboard is wrong. I mean, you're showing a 60% 64 key layout, you know, but you list it as a 60% keyboard. Then you have feet that won't work. They're not going to stand up because it's low profile. I mean, look at that. I can't even get it to stay. I just even just adjust it a little bit. Boom. There goes the leg, and now. So it's not very user friendly. It's very, very nice looking, and I'm going to get into it. I'm going to mod it and see how well I can make it sound, because I mean, I'm glad you use Gatorons and not you know, some cheaper hot swap sockets. And man, one thing I guess I wanted to check. Oh, but I mean, you could have spent a few more cents and gotten better switches in there, especially for the price. Now we do have 5-pin compatibility, and it looks like we are using either Kale or Kale-like hot swap sockets. So we're going to be able to use you know, 99% of switches that are out there. See, even if I set it down, the legs fall. One of the legs fall. So, like I said, I need my legs to be sturdy. It's kind of the point. If the legs aren't sturdy, the keyboard... Alright, see, it's doing basically like a caps lock, but... And I didn't see anything in the manual that says anything about that. So I'm curious, is that a intentional effect? And if it is, why? Why not just make the function key white? I mean, it's supposed to be some kind of indicator, or add some indicators here to the left. I mean, they got the caps lock indicator on the caps lock, so why not the function? If that's what that is, or is that a flaw? Because if that's the feature, then why is it in the manual? As far as measurements go, from the chin on down, if you want to measure the height of this board to where the keys basically bottom, it's about 20 millimeters, which is the height of a keyboard I just measured the other day, but I can't think of it. Now, when we have the feet out, if we do the same for the back, we're gonna see that the height in the back with the feet out is right at 38 millimeters. So with the feet, we're adding about, I think we have roughly 4 degrees with the feet, and roughly 6 to 7 degrees with 4 degrees without the feet up, roughly 6 to 7 with the feet in the upright position. But again, they don't stay. The thing that I was surprised on with this keyboard are the stabilizers. I just wanted to take a look here, because despite it being stock, the stabilizers are actually pretty good. And oh wow, from what I can tell, there's little to no new lubrication on it. I don't think there's any actually. That's yeah, these are, oh, we've got plate mounted stabilizers that got plate mounted stabilizers that are actually a little bit loose, so they could use some tape. They're completely dry, yet I mean, they're not perfect, but it's not going to take much to get them sounding better. Let me check another one. Yeah, look at those stabilizers. I mean, they are so loose. These should sound awful, but I mean, that's not acceptable for a keyboard this price. A keyboard at this price. At least put a little lubrication in there, and I mean, either make the plate thinner or thicker, or make the tolerances on the clip-in stabilizers a little bit better, because that's I'm honestly surprised they sound that good, being that the stabilizers are dry and are loose. They should be rattling a lot more. Honestly, when I open her up, I'm going to see what kind of magic is going on, if there's any at all. Yeah. Anyway, like I said, I'm always going to keep it honest. I am not someone who, you know, I know a lot of work went into this, and I'm not trying to say, oh, it was all a failure. Like I said, I love the design. When I saw it, I was like, ooh, yeah, I'll definitely take a look at it. I'll give it an honest review. And I'm going to do a sound test with it, and then I'm going to come back and mod it and see how good I can get it to sound. And I may put either some XDA or some DSA caps on here. I've got a couple of sets of actually DSA caps that I think would work very nice. But not that these are actually, they seem pretty good as far as thickness goes. But I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys with a sound test, and we'll come back to this for a later date. I will, though, send a link to the video and just surmise the points that I brought up, because I think, I mean, they're kind of important. I mean, I would think. Otherwise, I mean, if they make some changes for $99 and it sounds pretty good, I don't think it'd be a bad deal. Like I said, it's the 3 mode, so you know you can use it with your computer or Bluetooth with your tablet or your phone. or you can just go wired, as I prefer. I'm going to guess part of that weight, about 750 grams plus, and here is going to be that battery, which is 3,000 milliamp, which is not bad. I mean, don't know how much juice it's going to be using. Perhaps I will just try it wireless for a little while. Right now I use a Tester 68 as my Android TV keyboard. I navigate, I pretty much use it almost, if not more than my actual remote. So keyboard shortcuts. It's kind of a, I don't know if it's an old school thing or it's a Linux thing, or I don't know. Though I don't use VI, I know, or Vim, or Emacs. But anyway, it's a solid keyboard that has some flaws that could be fixed. But changes are going to have to be made. The way that it is, like I said, I don't know if that's a bug or a feature. I'm going to guess it's a bug that they're now going to call a feature. That's what it seems like. Like, that was unintended, but whoa, what it really means is it's just to let you know you're pressing the function key. I kind of know I'm pressing it. But anyway, also, while I'm here, let me just take a quick look. All right, so I just took a real quick look, and apparently, I do remember actually having seen a Kemove before, and I almost bought it when it was on sale. It was listed on Our Budget Keeps. It was a Halloween-themed 60%, but I never got it, even though I think it was like on sale for $21.99, something like that. So that's the DK61. This is the DK68, and they have the DK64. Like I said, I think on the back of this one, that's actually the 64 because it's a 64 key. This is a 68 key. I don't know if they're just reusing the boxes. I mean, it does say K68, so it seems like they designed the boxes. That's got to be corrected. I mean, I'm sorry, but I don't believe it's intentional, but that's false advertising on the actual box. Come on, that's got to be corrected. I don't know. Like I said, on some of these things, I just don't comprehend. Anyway, that's my initial review. I will be coming back to this, and if Kemove does respond back to me, I'm obviously marketing's the one that reached out to me. I doubt they have much communication with engineering, but who knows? Who knows? Perhaps my feedback will actually help them, and they'll design something better, because like I said, it's a good start. I would have made some different choices. Like I said, my specialty or experience lies more in software product development, though I've been a part of some actual hardware development. So I know that there's a lot of hurdles to cross, but there's certain things that you have to test. I mean, I know sometimes you can let out edge cases, 1% of the people might experience this. Maybe we can let that slide. But, that's an edge case. But that's not an edge case. That's going to happen to every single person that gets this keyboard, and I don't think they're going to be happy about it. So, anyway, let's see. Who knows? Companies, I think, are starting to become more responsive and understanding that, they can't just use the community as a way to just spam their products and just ignore everything else. No, they have to actually participate in the community. They need to listen to what people have to say, and they have to have responsive customer service. I mean, you just can't have poor customer service in this day and age with any product, but especially with keyboards. For the most part, any one of us that's been in the hobby for a while, we know the difference between quality and, that wasn't the best. Anyway, I hope everyone is having a wonderful weekend. I know I'm having a bit of a crazy weekend, but it's always fun. Until next time, keep calm, keyboard on, and I'll leave you guys the sound test, so don't click off.